welcome to Yes, Black Girl. I am your host, Kiara Sheree, and my beautiful co-host, Miss.
I'm Ray. Hey y'all.
It's great to be here. Let me give you guys a quick background on why we started Yes, Black Girl. So, this series was born out of my thesis, my graduate thesis by the same name. It was a digital archive that I created using Twitter. And it was meant to highlight Black women throughout history and present day and to oppose mainstream narratives of Black women across the African diaspora. And my Twitter archive really didn't get a whole lot of love, but it still got some love, like some interaction or whatever. But it was just fun getting to like research all of these different women, and just, kind of like being inspired by the research as well. The archive is actually still up on Twitter. So if you search at Yes Black Girl, you can see the whole timeline of all the women that I shared on there. And I knew that I wanted it to be more than just a digital space that existed on that platform. I wanted it to grow and expand because we need to be highlighted. Black women are out here doing dope shit all the time, and everyone needs to see it. Exactly. And so this new space is going to be, of course, celebrating Black women, regardless of their nationality, their class, their gender expression, ability, and sexuality. And I want to just highlight the work that we're all doing in the world, in our communities. So yeah, welcome. We have some great interviews in store for this month of August. Well, it's not August yet, but it's almost August. August when they see it. And I hope everyone just feels as inspired by this series as I feel by just watching all of you. So yeah, that's it. So Ray, what's been going on with you? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. A lot's been going on. I've been dancing a lot and just doing a lot of theater work. For those that don't know, I am a theater technician and a dancer, and I do a lot of other stuff. So I've been doing that, and I've been getting a lot of emails for like dance stuff. So I'm trying to get my schedule together. So if I stumble over my words, my brain is just like falling out my ears right now.
Okay, like that hurts. I literally just got home from work and I'm feeling like all over the place. I just realized I left the door open and my cats could come in here at any moment.
I was in the studio with Sabina earlier. I don't know if I told you that. Yeah. So I just got back from dancing. So
wow, how's that feeling?
Good. My brain is. I'm trying to remember everything, and my name is Raya, and I love to dance. It don't feel like I do.
This is what I do. All right. So I guess we can go ahead and move into our interview portion. Let Raya do the honors.
Okay, so we are very excited to welcome our special guest for today's episode. She is an amazing woman, a baddie with a body, and an artist who I am able to call my sister. And she is also known for DJing. And she is from the illustrious PG County, Maryland. So let's give a warm welcome to Qhlo The Show.
Welcome, Chloe. It's so great to have you on here today. You're our first interview. You're kicking this whole thing off.
Thank you.
Here. Your hair is looking beautiful.
Thank you.
My hair. Come on, skin.
Skin is popping.
Here's our Black Girl and Black Girl Magic sunscreen or Black Girl sunscreen. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I almost grabbed the tube just to put up in here, but I'm like, wait a second.
Listen, all this beautiful Black queenliness going on in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I love it.
Beautiful. All right. So we're going to go ahead and ask this question. I remember when we were still in school, because we all went to Bowie State University together, which is also a really beautiful thing. Educated Black queens. Okay. Yeah. And I remember you always talking about you wanted to work you wanted to work in radio. So is that still something that you want to do, or are you kind of like more focused on the DJ side now?
I do. I still would like to work in the radio industry, just to get my foot in the door, you know what I'm saying? My goal is actually to start my own broadcasting channel, my own radio channel, Blaqsheep. So that is the goal. So yes, I guess you could say yes, I would still like to do it, but no, because at the same time, I have this thing, I guess, where I feel like on the radio I have to play what other people are requesting or what others want. Of course, I know I have my free space to play what I want. But I feel like majority of the time I would have to play what other people will like, which isn't a problem to me. I won't say that's a problem, but it's like a lot of things, I don't really either listen to, or the message isn't really what I go for when I am playing certain songs. So that would
Yeah.
only be the only downfall to it. But other than that, like I said, it's a yes and no thing. So yes, I would on my own terms, but no, I
Mhm.
wouldn't, because I would have to follow, what everybody else is doing. So
I feel that. I feel that a lot. And it's like, I feel like with radio, you always have to do what's like kind of mainstream right now.
mm-hmm.
It's just doing what feels good to you. But I
Right.
think what's beautiful about this is like you're kind of already building up that, your own sound, building up that platform. So then when they start coming to you, it's gonna be like, well, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is the music that
Yeah,
I'm
I would.
playing.
If I was to have my own radio station, it would be a place where I would want people to come to discover new artists. You know what I'm saying? Something that they don't hear every day. So if you
Absolutely.
want to hear something new or something you ain't never heard before, Black
Yes.
Sheep, Qhlo The Show got you. You know what I'm saying?
We love to see it. Break your sound down a little bit for us, because I know you said it's like a nostalgic mixtape, and I've definitely heard some of it, and I'll be
Mm-hmm.
jamming out
Jam.
to
90s babies.
you playing the bops. Just explain a little bit what type of music and what styles of music you like the most.
I love. So I'm in love with all kinds of music. I listen to almost everything from country to jazz to R&B, hip hop, sometimes reggae, sometimes rock and roll. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But for me, the sound that kind of gives me that nostalgic feeling that kind of brings me home is really the R&B, soul, neo soul, alternative R&B.
Yeah.
So everything that kind of generates to my childhood, like going back into my childhood and listening to what my mom really was listening to back in the day, like the Luther Vandross, the
I was
Anita
just about to
Bakers,
say, yeah.
so
Yes.
it's something that kind of just balances me out in a good way. Because for me, which for a lot of people it also may be, that people know that music is very a subconscious thing. So what you listen to really is geared toward, I won't say the type of person you are, but the kind of energy that you give off.
Okay.
So if I'm the type of person who listens to trap 24/7, I may be the type of person who may be angry 24/7.
That
You know what I'm saying?
frequency ain't where it needs to be at.
Yeah,
It's
you know what I'm saying. So
putting up
I
all
feel
out.
like that even balance of that plus
Mhm.
the R&B, the 90s, the neo soul kind of balances me out, where I gravitate more to the neo soul and the R&B because that's what I was raised on. So I'm more of a mellow, chill, just go with the flow, guys. Like that's the kind of person I am, because that's the kind of music that was generated back in the day. Like it was all through love and talked about love. And I'm not saying that music today doesn't do the same thing, but I feel like the approach to it was
Mhm.
more so, I like the approach of it back then more so than I do now. So that kind of what
Yeah.
gravitates it to me more so too.
Because I know people care, they used to care more about like artist development, and
Mm-hmm.
now it's kind of just like they're pushing out stuff and they're like industry plants.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot too. Like I realized for me, like I gravitate more so towards the sound, more so the lyrics. So the
Mhm.
beat to me always catches me. So if I'm on your beat and I'm like, okay, this is a jam, and then maybe tomorrow or the next day I start listening to the words, that song may fall off for me, because yeah, it's the beat, but at the same time I'm looking for something that's more so longevity. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Music back then had longevity to where, yeah, we got with the beat, but the lyrics, you might listen to it
Mhm.
2 or 4 years later and it'd be like, you know
It
what,
still
these
slaps.
lyrics hitting right now. You know what I'm
It
saying? I
still
did not
slaps.
realize that back in the
Yes.
day, but now it speaks to me, and that's what I look for, something that may not have registered to me back in the day listening to it, but the vibe was always there. But now,
Mhm.
years later, I can still be like, okay, now I can vibe to it, and the lyrics is hitting. I can relate to it.
Yes.
I just wanted to know, like, what has been the most rewarding thing about being a DJ so far?
um, to be honest, I think it's the acceptance of. It's gonna sound bad when I say this, but it kind of like makes me smile at the same time. It's kind of like people I guess realizing that this is something I'm good at. You know what I'm saying? So it's like growing up, it's always, yeah, I did this, but I'm not really feeling it. I'm doing this. Like I've always dibbled and dabbled in different artistries, but with this, it was always something that I had like in the back of my head. Like I knew like music was something that I loved. I just didn't know how to go about it. Like it wasn't enough for me just to listen. Like I was a child back in the day where you could go into your house, your mom have the radio on. Once it's turned off, it's turned off. For me, I was listening to the Quiet Storm.
Okay.
I had the radio on at night, you know what I'm saying? Especially during the summertime, which is why the summer is so nostalgic for me, as well as, the Quiet Storm, because I remember those nights where it'd be raining outside and I would, roll up the window, turn on the Quiet Storm. Janet Jackson might be playing,
Yes.
Luther Vandross, Anita Baker. So it's like those songs that really hit home for me internally. And that just brings me back to my childhood because I just think that's so important, especially nowadays, is just doing what you love that brings you back to those childhood moments that really make you smile because those were the easiest times of your life where you had no worries, you had no care. You just worried about when the next episode of SpongeBob was coming on. So it was like, it's one of those things for me. So I think it's really just realizing not just myself but other people, like, wow, this is something that you're really good at. Like you can actually mix this music where some people it takes them a few months to a few years to really grasp how to do it. But for me, it kind of came naturally. I got my first turntable when I was in high school. It was my senior year, and I picked it up and I looked at it. I probably downloaded the software and I probably scratched on it one or two times. And I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to use it. And I'm one of those people who like to be taught. I'm a hands-on person. So if somebody can sit next to me and say, okay, this is how you do it, I can pretty much pick it up really quickly. So I really didn't have anybody around me. And I can't really tell you what made me want to get a turntable in my senior year. Maybe something in me knew that I was going to want to do this years down the line. And it was like, okay, you better start now. But I didn't listen to it. So I started when I got to Bowie. I was, well, not even when I got to Bowie. I was hanging around a lot of DJs at Bowie, kind of watching them what they do and watching how they interacted with the crowd and the type of music they was playing and watching people, dancing and moving and clapping and just being happy. And I was just like, okay, I like the vibe. I like the vibe. So I stayed in touch with those DJs, and last year, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna get me a new turntable because people was telling me that the one I had was outdated and it was trash. So I was like, okay, let me get a new one and see what I can do with the new one. What? I got the new one, and I learned how to do everything pretty much on my own. As far as adding music, I still have my questions here and there for people. What software is the best to use, or what brand of DJing equipment is the best to use. And I got my insights here and there that way, but a lot of the other stuff, it really just took me sitting down and saying, okay, how do you really do this? Like, okay, this is how you figure it out. And just being patient with myself and taking the time to learn, and also watching other people that influenced around me, how they did it, and just applying that to what I do and trying to create my own thing from it. So I'm glad it's flourished as much as it's done so far. But yeah, so it's something I'm definitely, trying to keep up with, and progress on.
That's awesome.
And I was gonna add, like, I think it comes naturally to you because you listen to so much music already, and quote unquote classic music, like those vibes. So to move on, what are there any like misconceptions about your craft, or like things that people think you do but you don't, or vice versa?
Well, what I will say is I don't take requests, but no. That's one thing that I've learned, doing this. If that answers kind of the question, is taking requests. That's a misconception I feel like that people feel like DJs have to do, is take requests. We don't have to, because it kind of messes up the flow of things when you say, okay, I'm gonna play Ari Lennox, and then you come up to me and say, well, play some The Baby, and it's just like,
okay, no,
you can't just switch up the flow like that. Like it gotta. If I start with Ari, I'll say that for a lot of DJs, there is a flow to how things go. So if we're gonna start off with smooth jazz, we're gonna gradually get to everything else. So if we're gonna start at smooth jazz, don't try to take it from 0 to 100 real quick and throw in, DMX, because it's like, yeah, we gonna get to DMX, but that's gonna be later down the line. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. I feel like I really don't know what I haven't been in the game that long to say what some of the misconceptions are of DJing as of yet. I can just say based off of what I hear other DJs talk about and go based off of that. So I will say that one thing that I do see a lot is we don't take requests like that. Now if it's like for me to for example, it's me, I'll say, hey, let me know. Like if I'm doing an event, I'll say, let me know what are some songs that you would like to hear. What artists would you like me to throw in there, so that way when we gradually get to that part, you will hear, your favorite songs. But it does throw off the vibe of stuff when you insert a rap song over a slow jams R&B. Sometimes it can work. Sometimes it does work. But other times it's a lot. I won't say it's a lot more that goes into it, but when BPMs come into play, we're not going to do a 75 over 150 without, either slowing up or slowing down, one of the two. So that's what I'll say for me personally. I can't speak for all DJs, but for me, I will say that's one thing that I probably will hold on to, is that I don't take requests often. I'll say that.
As you shouldn't, girl. Listen, control it.
And
I
to,
feel like
what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know, like my uncle is a DJ, and when I was a kid, I literally would hear him just DJing all the time, loud as hell in our neighborhood. And it's like growing up, just like you said, it's that feeling of just playing all the things that just made you kind of just fall in love with music. And you're absolutely right about the like the flow of it all. Like I've noticed, it was a couple weeks ago, I went to a party, and the DJ was just, I don't know what he was on, but he was kind of just jumping all around. It was like 1 minute we were just listening to R&B, and then he was putting on a trap, but it wasn't, like you said, it didn't gradually move into it. It's like he didn't build it up. It's kind of like you got to find that right song to kind of make that switch, and he didn't. I was just like, what's going on?
And I feel too like, oh, there's a bird. I feel too that like with me specifically, I will say that I am a people pleaser to an extent. So there will be times where I'll play a song and then I'll think in my head like, oh, I hope somebody likes this, or I hope that they like the vibe, or I hope that. And then I know that I have to learn, like, not everybody, like, you have to find your audience. Not everybody is gonna vibe with, the song that you're playing. Some people may not even be hip to the type of song you're playing, because people have their different perceptions of music and how it makes them feel. So I would more so like to cater to those that like the same type of music I do, because I know that I won't steal you wrong with R&B or neo soul, because that's what I'm always listening to. I can find you somebody new now. But you won't catch me. I mean, I won't even put that out there, because I would love every opportunity. But it will be rare that you will catch me at a trap, party, because I don't have a lot of trap music in my library. You know what I'm saying? I can only hit you with a few trap songs, because, like I said, if the beat catches me, I'm gonna be vibing with it, and that's what it's gonna be. But don't catch me at the trap house, unless they come out with
classics and throwbacks.
Like, but listen, okay, so you can catch me at the trap house only if I can put a R&B, what do you call it, acapella over a trap beat to give you a different feel. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to learn how to do too, is trying to switch up how people hear music. So you might not like this certain artist, but once I put their instrumental over a different vocal, you know what I'm saying? This might make you look at it a whole different way. So that's my whole thing about DJing and music in general, or just art in general, is just taking something and shifting it another way to give people a different outlook on it, so that way they can expand their horizons. Because I might put, like I'm saying, a DMX track over an Ari Lennox beat, and you may not have liked DMX back in the day, but now it's over an Ari Lennox beat, and it's just
and you hear that slow, and you like, wait a second,
she might have did something.
Okay,
right. So that's what I'm trying to go for.
Yes. And I was gonna add, like, there is nothing worse than being in a club and y'all doing it, and then the DJ make a sloppy transition, and it's just like, how did you even get hired?
And see, I had to learn that people don't hear everything the same. Like how we may be like for dancing, you know what I'm saying? You may be able to hear the 1, 2, 3, and you be able to drop on the beat. Like with DJing, you have to be able to drop the 1 on the 2, or you know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to. Some people don't hear it. They might hear, there have been times where I'll hear something and it sounds good to me, and somebody might be like, and it's just like, but that's because people hear things differently. So but I will say you have to know your crowd, because if you hearing it this way, you better hope the rest of your crowd hears it that way, or this is gonna be just a lot going on that night.
So if you had to spin for any popular festival, or you can name a few, which ones or one would it be and why?
It's funny because I really didn't start getting into festivals until like I'll say 2 years ago. I think my first festival was the Roots Picnic. Now I will say I would like to spin for the Roots Picnic. That'd be dope. I'm about to go to my first Her festival. I didn't know until recently that Her had her own festival called Lights Out.
Yes.
So I'm going to that in Cali. So that would definitely be an amazing one. Essence Music Festival, definitely, because that's where all the old heads be, and I feel like it's easy to play for the old heads.
Aunties.
All the aunties, all the uncles, two-stepping and everything, so definitely Essence Music Festival. So anything like that, for real, that gives like the Essence Music Festival cookout family reunion vibes, I'm your person, because I'm going to hit you with the 2000s and the 1990s and the 80s. Like, I'm going to hit you with all that. So I would like to do that.
Come on, nostalgic mixtape.
Nostalgia.
So to wrap this up, we have one more. So just what is one piece of advice you would give to all of the Black girls or Black people in general, and Black women who aspire to become a DJ or like just in radio and broadcasting?
I'll say one that everybody always says, which is never give up. Every no is not an official no. You might hear so many no's before you get a yes. So never stop trying that locked door, because one might finally open. Like I said, find your audience. I feel like that's very important, because I feel like a lot of people try to cater to everybody, and you have to understand that not everybody is going to like you, and that's okay. It's okay not to be liked by everybody, because if you're liked by everybody, that's just too much that you're going to have to try to figure out. So cater to first yourself and what you like, because something that you like, somebody else definitely might like. Because there's so many people in this world, it's gonna be rare to find somebody that don't like nothing that you do. So just cater to yourself, and then that will naturally cater to your audience and what you're looking for. And one thing I will say too is, if you are not a good speaker, or if you get shy speaking around people or nervous, also work on that, because that's something else I'm working on. Just strong communication skills, being confident in what you say and what you do, and not being afraid to put your best foot forward, because I'm more of a behind the scenes type person. But in the work of DJing, you're not always going to be behind the scenes, or even in my line of work period of being an artist, because DJing is not all that I want to do. I'm going to have to use my voice, and having a strong voice is very important. And if you use it the wrong way, we know what happens when you use the wrong way. So I would say be mindful. Just be mindful of, the platform that you have, because a platform is still a stage, and your voice will matter on your platform. So that's
that word. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Way to end that out. It was great having you on here.
I thank you guys for allowing me to be on here, my illustrious, beautiful Black Bowie State women.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Get us all out here, being grown.
Glistening, just living our best lives.
I love it. Oh my God, this was beautiful. I'm so glad that we were able to do this. And keep on killing it out here. That's why I had to have you on. I was like, I love the fact that you're out here DJing. I have a lot of DJs and stuff in my life. So to see someone that I went to school with just, kind of fall into that, it's just great seeing. You're doing an amazing job. Keep going. Yes, Black girl.
Girl.
Oh, we're gonna keep on following it, and hopefully, I think I might be able to get some, just a little bit of some of the like mixes and stuff that you did, and maybe add it in as well. I think that'll be super dope for everybody to just kind
of. If you ever need me to create a mix for you guys, I create playlists too. You know, I got the vibes. I be trying to put people on new artists because you know there's a lot of underground artists out here that people really don't. You know, I won't say they don't appreciate, but they don't know because they don't expand their horizons. Well, they don't. Some people aren't appreciated who need to be, and some people just don't expand their horizons. So I'm gonna need y'all to do that because you know there's a lot of people out here who is great. Than just
that's definitely something that I've been wanting to do. I was saying to Ray, I was like, and she suggested maybe doing it like once a month, but I definitely have a lot of like indie artists and just artists that aren't quite mainstream yet, and just kind of and just music videos. So I feel like we kind of fell out of music videos a lot, but it's so many dope ones out there, and it's so amazing artists giving that same sound that we all love, that we kind of everyone's like, oh, I miss hearing this, but it's like the artists are still there. They just need some money and some promotion. So, you know, we're definitely going to move into that.
And that's why I'm kind of glad, like, even though I love when people sample music, I'm so glad T-Pain came out and said, please do something different. Because y'all got all this equipment to be able to do something different, and y'all just keep backtracking. Like, we get it. We get the samples. We understand it. Y'all are talented enough to be able to come out with a whole new sound that still caters to that old school feel and that still has that longevity. Music is missing longevity, which is why we just be ready to cancel anybody, because it's like your music is not that great.
Okay,
still listening to it 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not downplaying anybody because everybody's craft is great in their own right. But at the same time, y'all get canceled early because y'all music will not be bumping 20, 30 years later. That's why, and I will say that's why it is hard for people to stop playing R. Kelly, even though, you know, it's hard to stop playing R. Kelly because he has some hits. You know what I'm saying? He has longevity in his music to where people still trying to step in the name of love.
And he produced a lot of stuff. When we were listening to Goodies, he was all over Goodies, and I love that. So I'm like, dang.
He wrote so many of my favorite songs. I was actually talking about that the other day. I was like, he wrote so many songs that I love. Now, some of them I'm still
I
got them in my bag. But stuff that he was just on himself, I'm like, okay, I can't, because we all know what he was writing about and where it was coming from. Please.
And this is probably another question for another podcast, but I asked Twitter one day, I said, what do, like, as an artist, because you guys are artists too, as an artist, do you want what you say or your personal opinions or feelings about certain topics, do you think that should be held accountable to your craft as well, to where now your craft is devalued because of something that you said? Or should it be two separate things, to where, this person says he's an atheist and this, that, and the third, but his music is just so good that we can't cancel him. Do you hold them accountable for each other, or do you separate them? And I had one person say yes, and one person say no.
Yes.
And I think
go ahead, Ray.
It can be separate if it's harmful. Like if what they're saying is harmful to like certain communities, just like what the rapper mentioned earlier.
The little baby.
And that can go back to artist development.
Yeah,
like
PR.
Had your PR team go on stage, do your song, get off.
As Brown said,
for none of that. Like this is not the time to get political. Like, yes, you're an artist and you have a platform that you can use to be political, but there's a time and a place for those things.
I agree. I think that it's definitely very, very situational. Like in the case of R. Kelly, like the stuff that he was writing about was the stuff that he was out here doing. So it's kind of like, it's a little touchy. But there are so many artists that they have certain political views or they say certain things, but it's like, if you're minding your business, but the art is hitting, I'm not going to fall on that. But it's really when everybody is being so vocal, or we just know that you're doing some stuff that you don't need to be doing. But then you think about kind of like back in the old days, a lot of these artists were trifling. And they were, some of the biggest artists, but it's like they changed so many things and they brought so much joy to the world. So you kind of just, turn that eye to it. And I think that we're in a time where everyone's like, I'm not turning my eye to it anymore.
I have so much access to artists now. Like, even like my space, like you think you would be friends with an artist, but the whole time that's their manager managing their account. But now they're on Instagram and Twitter all the time.
We're overstimulated with it.
Right. And it's like sometimes I don't want to hear your opinion. I want to hear
Right. And I feel like it's sad the limitations too we have on free speech in the music industry too, because there is no reason why Lil Nas X could not speak his piece and want to write what he want to write about without other people trying to, I won't say jump the bandwagon, but mock him in a sense, because we all knew the Yeah music video was mocking his music video because of what he was talking about. And it's like, why even have that rebuttal? Like, why not just let him create his music? Because y'all aren't in the same category. Y'all aren't in the same division of music, genre of music, whatever you want to call it. So why did you feel the need to speak on something that's not in your category? Like, I can see if it was right. Like, I can see if the Yeah was coming out as what Little Nas, was saying, and then T.I. was like, yeah, man, this music is da-da-da. Okay, you have a right to say something because that's your genre. You don't have a right because it's none of your business. But, that's your genre, that's your area. But Lil Nas minded his business in his own category. Why did you feel the need to say something about how he portrays himself? Like, that, I will never understand that about music. Like, if he wants to come out openly and profess his love, and that's one reason why I feel like Frank Ocean, kind of stepped back from music, because when he came out as being gay, before he even came out, everybody was loving his music. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, Frank Ocean, he that guy, like he And then he came out as gay, and then guys was like, what? He's singing about a man? Oh nah, I can't even listen. And it's just like, so y'all just gonna stop listening to good music because this man is professing his love for a man? Like,
and that's a good point. I'm about to wrap this up, but that's a great point you just made, is that I've been noticing, and I don't know if it's because of where I'm living at or who I'm around, but there's so many amazing ass queer artists out here right now. And I mean, they are like giving everything that we need to see.
Because they're versatile.
They are. It's really popular. And they literally just need to be seen. And I think back to like the 80s and the 70s, right? You're not gonna tell me that all those artists were not queer as hell and that they were not out here just giving us like
Youth Vandross.
Listen, Prince.
And nobody cared. Everybody focused on the music and did them, and whatever made them money, that's what they focused on. They didn't take money out of nobody else's pocket just because they was gay. Like, come on now.
Yep. And it's like, unfortunately, everybody wasn't able maybe to like live in their truth, and be outwardly. It was very like quasi-closeted, or they just were, portraying themselves as heterosexual, but they still, their outward appearance, the things that they wore, the music that they gave us, it was amazing. And it was like everybody was just on this different frequency of, we're acting on love, but we're about this music. It sounds so good.
And that's And that's where it comes back around with diversity. If people were more diverse and maybe branched out to listening to pop music or with Vogue music, what I'm saying? They might be able to hear a different sound and incorporate that into hip hop or R&B or whatever the case may be, like they do reggae, like they do everything else.
Yes.
And it could have been something different, but comes with diversity.
It does. It does.
But yeah, diversity, I think, is the topic of, or something that music is missing.
Yes, I agree. Or not necessarily missing, I will say, in a mainstream vibe. And I feel like that's where the A&R really needs to step in. There needs to be people reaching out to the artists that really have that talent and really can take it back to a place where we are getting the diversity and we're hearing all those different things. Because it's there. It's just being highlighted. And
Chris Brown could be the one to do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why he's so. I mean, I understand why he's stuck on 90s sampling and all that, because that's when music was good. Like, we're not gonna sample any of the stuff I think we hear now in the future. But he could really, branch out like techno. I mean, he's done techno and he's done different. But I don't know. We just need somebody who's just gonna bring it all together, like be that centerpiece, and hopefully, Black Sheep Entertainment can kind of.
Listen, you gonna slide on up in there and do what needs to be done and be playing music. And that's also where you come in too. Last thing, like that's where you come in as a DJ, is you do have the power to kind of give people that stuff. Because like you said earlier, it's like you may play something and you don't really know how everybody's gonna react to it, but everybody can try to be like, I kind of like this. What is this song? And you have the power to, put people on the new shit too. So
And as a DJ, I feel like that would be more easier for me than trying to play what everybody likes. Because, like I said, I don't listen to everything, so it'd be hard for me to try to play your favorite rap artist when I don't listen to rap that heavy. So yeah, if you guys, I'm gonna throw this out there too, but I'm also trying to get some, parties, theme parties going, getting together, and linking up with local people to kind of have some events thrown to where you can get a vibe of new artists and not just your, regular mainstream artists, trying to, get people out there so that way we can bring diversity to where it's like, okay, I ain't never heard no techno like this, or I ain't never heard rap done like that. So, or not even music wise, you know what I'm saying? I'm all about fashion, art in general, like just anything that's different out here in the world that I feel like needs to be put on display so that way we can get another motion of, I don't know, creativity going. That's what I want to do, because I'm all about reinventing the wheel, but this wheel's starting to look the same. So this wheel look a little different, you know.
to change up.
I'm trying to change the rims on these wheels, you know what I'm saying? Everything's looking the same. All these cloths looking the same. So So we're gonna make it happen with time.
Definitely.
So where can the people who just learned about you, where can they follow you or interact with you on the internet, in real life, whatever?
I be on Twitter now, but I don't really be saying that on Twitter. But you can follow me on Twitter at Qhlo The Show. That's QHLOTHESHOW. Right now my Instagram is disabled right now, but I should be back in a few weeks. I'm just trying to get some content together, so y'all just won't be looking at the same stuff. So that is also Qhlo The Show, QHLOTHESHOW. And you can also follow me on my brand, my LLC, which is Blaqsheep Entertainment, BLAQSHEEPENT.
Awesome.
A creative house for visionaries. You know what I'm saying? We do.
I like that.
Thank you.
Okay, well, it was great having you on once again. Thank you guys for watching. And yes, we will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.